she looks over because her cousin was dancing with somebody next to her. She looks over at her cousin and goes, I feel like I'm about to, and the girl just hits the floor.
What?
Passes out mid-twerk. Just
No,
hits
she did not.
the floor. Passes out.
This is No But For Real.
No, but for real, tell me how I feel.
What up, everybody? I'm Dave.
I'm Jazzy.
And welcome to your favorite podcast, No But For Real.
For real, we back.
Welcome to the show where we talk about everything, anything, and nothing at the same time. I'm just glad you're joining the show. And it's actually picking up traction on YouTube, which is great. So, thank y'all for joining. We appreciate it. Nels, how are you?
I'm good. I'm actually really good.
Good.
Things are unraveling and unfolding, and seeds that were planted are harvesting. And I couldn't be more grateful, honestly, with everything that's going on. It's so weird me being back in corporate America and actually loving it. Like, I'll get up at 6 a.m. and be okay. Like, that is an accomplishment for me. I have no idea where that came from, like how I can get up at 6 a.m. with a smile on my face. Like, before this job, I couldn't even get up at 9 a.m. with a smile on my face. So I'm pretty excited to, like, actually love what I'm doing and getting home, during business hours and able to actually be productive in the evenings as well.
What time do you usually get off work?
It depends. Sometimes I stay over. So it's been times where I was in the office till 8. But that was just me being an overachiever, trying to make sure I am on top of all my work because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of organization and prioritization. And when you're in the office and everybody's in there, you're distracted a lot. People ask you questions. You're having to handle like day-to-day stuff with all of your employees and things like that. So, but normally I do leave around 5 o'clock, 5:30-ish, maybe 6. So yeah, and then I'm only 15 minutes away from my job. So that's even better. I get home, like if I get off at 5, I'm home by 5:30, like rubbing my feet together by 5:30. Like that is amazing. And yeah, so I think it's just going to be better production-wise for me. It's crazy because I'm putting in more hours at work, but I feel more productive because of the times. Like, bartending was like late night. And then because it was late night, my day wasn't as productive because I was tired during the day. So it was like a double whammy. Bartending was great. It was great money, but it kept me unproductive because how tired I always was because of the late night hours. There's this thing, I can't remember what it is, but there's something in our body that suggests, I don't know how true it is, it's something that I heard, that you're supposed to sleep at night. So there are studies around where basically that's how people develop insomnia, where they can't sleep. Like if they are the type of people who are working at night, like third shift workers, kind of people who work third shift for a long period of time have a hard time sleeping because they're sleeping during the day.
Right.
So yeah, I think I'm noticing that difference, like the fact that I don't work at night anymore. I get better sleep and I'm more energized in the mornings, and which makes me more productive. So it's kind of interesting, me when I was a bartender, I had more time, I guess free time, but I had less energy to be productive. So it's just something to know and keep in mind. Like, that was something I was battling with taking this job. I'm like, I'm gonna be working more hours, making kind of the same money. Do I want to do that? Like that don't, me being an investor, the math ain't mathing. But when you start thinking about your body and how your body operates and things like that, it did make sense. It lets me know I made the right decision. So I'm very happy about that.
Well, good. Good.
What about you?
I'm good. I'm always tired. Not like
get some sleep. You ain't getting no sleep. What's going on? You be up all night?
No. I mean, I'm a night owl.
Sleep at night.
I'm a night owl, but I get my 7 hours. So
Whether it's during the day, whether it's broken up, nap time.
Right. Usually I probably
See,
get
you one of those
about.
people. You need to sleep at night.
I do sleep at night.
Okay.
I'm just not up as early as everybody else. But I'm gonna be asleep. Just don't talk to me before 10 o'clock.
Well,
Because I am not a morning person.
do we need to wait another 25 minutes?
No, it's cool. As
So
y'all
that
know,
means Dave is not going to really engage in the conversation until about 25 minutes. We got 25 minutes.
there you go. There you go.
Whatever.
As long as y'all know, that's all that matters.
So what else going on?
What else is going on? Man, I've been working a lot this week. Black Wine. Woo, I can't even talk. Black Wine Fest is coming up. Shout out to those ladies. They're clients of mine. I do video for them. They're doing like a little podcast. So I've been producing that podcast. And then now that that's coming up in February, we just been doing a lot of work, things like that. And then like still doing other videography type stuff, shooting content, making sure I post on Facebook so I get paid. And yeah, just being a creative. There may be some changes happening soon. I don't know. I'm just trusting God and living my best life. And yeah, I'm enjoying the process. So
Yes.
yeah.
Period.
So yeah, this next segment, or our first segment, not next. Anyway, first segment is called Let's Get Personal.
All right. I'm trying to figure out what coffee code already.
That's not happening. So the answer is yes.
Can you dance?
Yes.
If so, show me your best dance move. Oh, I wish Shar was here because Shar does my dancing so well. She always making fun of me.
Them dance videos.
I'm indifferent about it. Like people tell me I can dance, but I really truly don't believe I'm a dancer. I just
Do another question. That was stupid.
that ain't getting personal anyway. Like this song we posted social media.
Right.
What is the craziest thing you've ever done? I don't know why I put it at the bottom. I'm trying to think.
All right. This is just the first thing that popped in my
Oh, my
mind.
God.
So it's not the craziest thing I've done.
No, they need you cheating.
But
What's
hold
the
on.
craziest
No.
thing you've done?
I was just a part of the story in a way. It's just a crazy moment. I was in college. It was homecoming weekend. And we was going to this, me and the homies was going to this party. And we was at this party. And I know the moment my brother, my boy Malcolm sees this, he's gonna be so weak. We were at this party. We all lit. We turning up. It's a time. I'm feeling pretty good. I got a good buzz. I'm good. There's this one girl that's there. And listen, I ain't fat shaming nobody. It's just a part of the story.
Oh, Lord. About to get canceled out here, Big Dave.
You can't cancel me. I work for myself. Like, what you go? I'ma fire me? No. So we all dancing and everything, and I can hear her because she's dancing with a guy that I know, and she looks over because her cousin was dancing with somebody next to her. She looks over at her cousin and goes, "I feel like I'm about to," and the girl just hits the floor,
What?
passes out mid twerk, just
No,
hits
she did not.
the floor, passes out.
Wow.
It's funny
Oh, my God. No.
because nobody cared. People kept dancing around her. Like, she just hits the floor and everybody is just like, yeah. Nobody.
That is so, including you, huh? Including you.
Nobody cared.
So you kept dancing. You didn't try to help her.
Nobody cared. And because I'm such a good Samaritan and a nice person,
Oh my God.
I was like, man, I don't want to be the guy, but nope. When I say nobody cares, her own cousin is trash because she didn't care.
She kept working.
This girl passed out
horrible.
mid twerk, and so we I was like, all right, man, like cool. So she's a big girl, big,
Okay, I
And-
think we get it.
and so myself, I grabbed the guy she was dancing with. I said, this is partially your fault, so you just come over here and help me grab her. Now push pause, right? I gotta set the scene. I should have did this in the beginning.
Lord.
The way the bar is set up, you walk in, you got to go down some stairs, walk through the first part of the bar. So the bar is like when you walk in towards the other steps to go up to the dance floor, it's a bar like at the bottom of
So
the
you
steps.
go downstairs and you got to go back upstairs to a bar?
No.
the dance
The
floor?
dance floor is
Okay.
So you stop at the bar, get a drink, then you go up some stairs to the dance floor.
okay.
There's a reason I'm telling you this.
Okay, yeah, because she got to get up them steps.
No.
Or down them. Did
Not
y'all roll her
she.
down the stairs?
Not she. We.
Did y'all roll her down the stairs?
Hold on. So we
Oh, God.
So I gather some guys around, and my boy Malcolm like darts around the corner and comes to pick her up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a person on each side. One of the security guys comes. I can only grab one leg. Like when I say like, she was built. She was built for it tough. Like
You told the guy
Solid.
not two, just one, just the one. leg.
I can only
I
grab.
got a fourth of her.
I can only grab one leg, right?
Shut up.
Now remember, I told you. Also, let me tell you what was petty, right? The DJ was petty.
Oh my God.
We picked the girl up. The DJ flashes a light on all of us. I said, man, if you don't turn that thing
Wow.
off, man, like. So then,
Why?
right? Why? So then,
Because that was funny. Like how? Just watching four grown men trying to pick up this one woman.
no, I wasn't 4.
How many was it?
It was like 5 or 6.
And y'all was struggling. Everybody had
Nigga,
a arm, a leg,
we
a
were
toe.
drunk. What do you mean?
Oh man, why y'all just call the ambulance?
They wasn't gonna be able to get in there. And so then,
Oh,
remember I told you we gotta go down some stairs to get over and out, right?
yeah.
Now, if the bar is at the bottom of the steps, if people are going up the steps and they drunk, they spilling drinks. Remember that.
Oh
So
God.
we moving towards the steps. Mind you, I got my leg. I'm holding my weight.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm really upset that you only grabbed.
We
one
start
leg.
going down the stairs. My foot slips,
Oh my God.
and I gotta think quick, right? I say this either gonna be me or it's gonna be her.
So you dropped her.
In my mind, I'm like, she's already halfway gone, so she's not gonna know this happened. So it like
Oh,
I slip. I just like I just and then like it
so
ain't.
where was
She
this
didn't like.
at? Was this at the steps?
This was at steps. So she
rolled
didn't
down
like.
steps.
She didn't roll down. It was like a
slid
nice little pat, just like.
Hey, this is terrible.
And so you know,
Y'all went to go pick her up
cause
after
man,
she done smacked her head on the
I
steps.
promise you, if one person let go of one end, it throws everybody off. So
Oh my God.
we at the bottom of the steps now. We regroup. I grab my leg, pick her on up, head towards the door. We gotta go up some stairs. We going up the stairs. And I look at my boy Malcolm. Mind you, I'm telling y'all again, the girl's built for it tough, right? Malcolm, imagine this is her. Malcolm can't really get a grip on the girl. Like he at the top of her head, and he trying to wrap his arms. He's like this, like
Wait, what? Wrap his arm like what?
like he's trying to wrap his arm around her, right? And he can only like
He can only get so much of her.
so
in
much
his
of her,
grip.
right? And so he goes. I look up, and my nigga is struggling. Like he's just like, all right, just one more step.
He had her by herself?
No.
Oh, he just had that area.
Yeah, because it was a small area to get up the steps. So the people that was on the sides of her can't really,
Oh.
man.
Oh my God.
When I looked at him and saw him struggling, I laughed so freaking hard. So we got her up there, put her on the concrete, put her on that sidewalk.
You did not.
And I said, our good deed is done.
Oh my God.
All right. Somebody called 911.
Oh my God.
Yeah, cool. I'm going back to the party. Like,
Wow.
let me tell you the funniest part though. They was like, I walk back in because people saw us carrying her out. Somebody go, hey, that bitch had narcolepsy.
What? Wait, remind me what narcolepsy is. Is that when you fall
That's
asleep
when
on
you just randomly fall asleep out of
Oh, is
nowhere.
that what happened to her? Oh.
No, the girl had
Oh.
alcohol poisoning
Oh, wow.
and drank too much and passed out. She got too hot. Let me tell you what the even crazier part, right?
Overheating.
We went out again. This was like 2 weeks later. Me and my homies at the bar. I look behind us. That girl's is in a chair, knocked out, passed out again, right? Uh-huh. Somebody come over and just mush her face and she just hit the floor.
What? Why?
I looked at the homies. I said, y'all better keep y'all butts right here. We ain't carrying this girl nowhere. No.
What? Right. Yeah, she done.
And we sat at that bar and had a grand old time like nothing ever happened.
So how did she get back in the club? Somebody put her back in there?
No, this was a different day.
This was a different day.
I said this was like 2 weeks later.
Oh my God, I missed that part.
Yeah. She had alcohol poisoning. They took her to the hospital and everything.
Wow. Poor baby.
And I was like,
That's sad.
I did my good deed.
That was a struggle. It sounded like that was a serious situation.
When I tell you, it's the funniest thing that has ever happened to me.
Oh my God.
Oh, it will go down in history.
So that's the craziest. So what was the craziest thing?
The whole thing was crazy because people is stupid. Like, the best part is nobody cared. People looked at her. People looked at her
Over.
and kept dancing. Like,
Hey, black people, listen.
when I say
Yeah,
that I laughed from a good, hearty place.
That's so messed up, though. It's so messed up. I'm trying to think. I feel like that was a cop out, though, Dave. Like, I feel like you.
Oh my God! All right,
You ain't do nothing crazy.
I gave you 15 minutes to think of yours. So do you say yours?
I couldn't think of yours while I'm listening to your story. I mean, I'm trying to think. Craziest thing I ever done. Craziest thing.
I don't know. I ain't never did like no wild stuff.
I don't feel like I have either. I mean, maybe like it's not really on as a light note as yours, but like I guess the only thing that keeps popping in my head is me getting violent with significant others. I've done that at least twice in past relationships, and I'm trying to think. I think that's, yeah. I think, yeah, my aggression, my anger, and the way I expressed it in relationships is probably the craziest thing I've ever done. Just allow my anger to make decisions, allowing my emotions to make decisions. And, I really feel so strongly about that now, where it's like, it really makes me cringe to think about it, because I feel like women can be abusive too. And like, we don't
Yes.
think it's abuse because we're women. And I think that's also disgusting, because it's like, just because you're a woman don't mean you don't punch hard and it hurt. And then a man just has to sit there and not hit you back. Otherwise, he'd be the abuser and you just be the victim. And I think a lot of us women, hopefully not so much anymore, but at least at a point in time, we took advantage of that. Like, oh, a man can't hit me. He shouldn't hit me. But we be the first to throw a punch. And I just think that's bizarre.
Right.
And I've heard a bunch of stories about that. Like, I had a friend tell me, like, he had to hit her back because she just kept hitting him. And it's just like, of course, after she got hit, all hell broke loose, and he was the worst man in the world and stuff like that. But it's just like, you literally beat him up. Like, what did you expect him to do?
And also, you can't. Nobody should be hitting anybody.
Right. Yes.
But it's like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Right.
He gonna keep letting
I am
you
not
hit
raising
him?
my son to be like, well, no matter what,
No.
just keep getting beat up. Absolutely not.
No.
You better pimp slap her back in her place, slam her, whatever you got to do, hold her back. You can do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. Like, but it sucks, because the justice system's all messed up. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, when a man hits a woman, it's probably more damage on her. So she can probably go to the police and try to get a domestic charge on you. Like,
Right.
So the fact that us as women take advantage of that, like, oh, I know, like, if I hit you, I'd still be the victim. You'd be the one to go to jail. It's just so disgusting.
My thing about it is, it's just in your mind. I just want to know, in what world do you think somebody ain't going to, at some point, retaliate back? Like, I just had this conversation with because I'm helping a friend through some stuff. And it's just like, the moment it gets physical is the moment it's all over. I don't care what the argument is.
Right.
Because at this point, it's not even about the argument.
Yeah.
It's not even about the thing. Now we putting hands on each other.
Right.
It's gone past the thought of maybe we could figure this out.
Right.
Now, me personally, you hit me. Okay, cool. So what we gonna do? Because I'm a very calm person, which is, I think, is the worst person you should probably hit, because I'm a thinker.
Right.
So you hit me, okay?
Yeah.
All right. And the moment I go crazy, you want to act shocked and surprised.
Victim.
You want to play the victim. No, I got track records of you putting your hands on me, you verbally abusing me, and all of a sudden, now that I snap, you want to, no. Which is why it's very hard for me to really get that upset. Because if I get to that point, all I see is red. Your
Right.
feelings mean nothing to me at that
Right.
point, and I will break you down like a fraction. And and I won't stop until you cry.
Yeah.
I just know that about me, which is why I don't let people take me to that place. I just be like, you know what? I'm going to walk away because I want to smack you in your throat, but I'm not going to.
In your throat, though. That's a black person thing. Why do we always pick the random body parts to talk about? I'm going to smack you in your throat.
If you ever been kicked in your throat, imagine your throat, though. Like,
right? Hey, I think I'm going to shut up after that.
Imagine. Like, this is a very, like,
very soft,
it's
sensitive
very
area.
sensitive. It's very exposed. You can't talk after that. You might as well you start learning sign language.
Shut up. Like,
Something.
Have you ever been kicked in your throat?
For real.
Hey, if I kick somebody in the throat, yeah, I'm cool. It's over.
If you get hit
we
hard,
are not ever getting back
if you
friends.
get hit hard enough, you will choke. You will die.
No, seriously.
And that's my thing. I will kick you in
so
your
I would
throat.
definitely say that's the craziest thing I ever done is put my hands on a man because I know good thing, obviously I wasn't fighting him. It was
Right.
just kind of like a hit. But I'm lucky that I had the two men that I did it to. I'm lucky that they were the men that they were. And kind of were just like, being the bigger person and kind of just, what is that called? Removing themselves from the situation type of thing. Because that could have got ugly. Like, and that's the thing. Like, men are not taking our anger no more. Like, all this anger and aggression and all of that. Like,
Because I really
I
don't
see
have
more
to.
stories where men are like, yeah, I slammed her. Yes, because she was acting crazy. Or, somebody told me a story about a man like literally beating his girl up, but she was acting crazy. She was spitting on him, beating on him. Like, I mean, what do you
What's
want?
unfortunate
Yeah.
is that's what it takes for you to really realize, oh, he low key might be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should stop because
Right,
now he done slapped the crap out of me.
right,
Okay, I get it now. But it shouldn't have to get to that point.
right. It should not.
So yeah.
Yes. So
Funny question.
the craziest thing you ever done. He helped a fat narcoleptic woman out of the club.
You stupid. Yeah.
And me over here being all serious, hitting men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy and absolutely hilarious. And the fact that it happened again,
Right. And
Nah.
everybody like, nah, we remember you. He cool.
no, we straight. We
She'll wake
straight.
back up in a minute.
I don't want none of that.
Oh my God, shut up.
So yeah, that happened.
What happened to our timer? Got rid of it?
I didn't feel like setting it up.
Okay.
But funny question. All right, this next segment is called Let's Keep It Real. What we getting real about today?
We are getting real about, I don't know what I just said.
I was about to say
We are getting rid about.
I don't
I
think
told y'all too much coffee.
I don't think that's a
It's
word.
real. I really like down my coffee this morning. I really don't understand.
And you already talk fast. So
But so we talked about the angry black woman 2 weeks ago. We were supposed to be in here last week. Please forgive. So I kind of wanted to talk about. We kind of talked about what the angry black woman is. The effects of it. What we think about it. Whatever. Now today, I kind of want to talk about where this even came from, right? Because the fact that this is even a thing makes me wonder, like, where are people getting this from? And honestly, when I was doing my research, I did not expect to come across what I came across, but it made so much sense. Now, this is all in theory. Obviously, people who really research, African and Black history and all of that may have better views, different views, whatever, that can go along with it. But when I say I've been researching this stuff for a while, and it all boiled down to the media, which is nuts. I think that's crazy. I'm like, there's no way. And what's crazy is this been around. That's one thing I was trying to figure out. Like, when did this come around? Like, when did people start being called? When did women start being called angry? Black women being called angry? This was way back in the 1800s when we were being called angry. And it really wasn't because we were angry. Again, this is all theory, right? From things that I have read. It was because that is what they wanted us to believe we were supposed to be, right? So we have a few characters that was supposed to depict black women. Black women. I don't know if you heard of the Mammy caricature. Mm-hmm. So the Mammy caricature was supposed to be basically this, it sucks to say, but an ugly fat woman, right? An ugly fat black woman who I wouldn't say was angry, but she was sassy, I guess. And but she was very protective of her white slave owners. Like, she was just a woman who was okay with being a servant to her slave owners, but she also depicted this sassy type of person. It's like it's Mammy, but I think of it like just like the black maid or the black, the black maid in the white culture. She may be sassy, but she was sassy all within like what her role was in the white family.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily a anger towards white people. It was an anger in protection of what she was doing. So it was almost like she was satisfied with it, but she still had a sassy character. It just wasn't opposed to white people.
Right.
Which this lady supposedly did exist in slave times and back in the 1800s, but supposedly she didn't exist to the degree that she was depicted in the media, if that makes sense, right? So basically what I'm saying is she existed, but it was rare. The media created this caricature to basically show it as if it's the norm.
Right.
And that kind of hit home for me because what is happening in the media today? Isn't that kind of the same kind of thing that we're still doing today? We're creating these narratives in the media, and it's manipulating us in the real world to believe this is what's really the norm, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was dope to kind of like see like this person essentially, I wouldn't say she was made up, but she was made up in a way where it was like, this is how black women are. It was made up in a way where like, this is the majority black woman. This is what a black woman actually is. But it really wasn't, but the media suggested that it was, so that kind of trickled down to making it real, if that makes sense. What do you think about that?
That's not shocking at all.
I just thought that was nuts.
Because,
like, what?
Because,
but I remember that, the Mammy thing and the character, and you could make a Google search right now and you'll see that lady and you'll be like, yeah, I know who that is. You know what I mean? That's
the dangerous side of media, the internet, but it has nothing to do with, I just think the avenue of which they portray black women, black people in general, is just different. I mean, now you can just go on your cell phone rather than reading it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
But the story is still the same, where the media plays a huge factor because for some reason people just can't think for themselves. So you watch the news and everything, it has to be true on the news because it's on the news, right?
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily true.
Right.
You know, my mind went to this whole black on black crime thing. Black on black crime started in the media. Because if you go back to, they ended slavery, they ended, technically ended segregation and all that. So it wasn't okay to be openly racist in most places now, right?
Yeah.
So if white people can't really use their old tactics to tear black people apart,
they had to create a new
They had to create a narrative for black people to be scared of each other.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense.
So, okay, how do we do that? Put it on the news. Mm-hmm. If we show black people that other black people are scary to be around, they'll turn on each other.
Yeah.
Which is why you'll see more black people doing crazy stuff in the news than you will see white people. Uh-huh. Or you'll see brown people doing crazy stuff more than you will see white people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, of course you've seen when a black man gets arrested or anything else, they pull up his mugshot, or if he gets killed by police, they pull up his mugshot. Oh, he had a terrible history. Forget the fact that he was a father.
Right.
He worked in his community. He had a full-time job. He was a married man, you know. But let a white person shoot up a school, oh, he's having mental health problems.
Right.
Or they take him to Burger King.
Right.
So it's always been this scare tactic in the media, even though Trump now, because he's just an openly racist a-hole, now it's just like, well, if he can be openly racist and misogynistic, sexist, all this other stuff, now most people are just like, oh, okay, now we can openly be these things and nothing will happen to us.
Yeah.
Even though y'all see right now, Trump is definitely about to go to jail.
I'm about to say, yeah, he like indicted. I don't know the terms. He's something.
He going to jail.
He going to jail.
No, but I think it's always been a tactic against black people.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really want black people to get to a place, and I do see the growth in these areas where we are starting to appreciate ourselves more, where we are starting to do the research on ourselves more.
Yes.
And I think it's a beautiful thing when we can't go based off what CNN says, what Fox News says, and, you know, even when they include other black people on their platforms, even a lot of these white-owned platforms will silent black voices. Because we gonna tell the truth. Like, this ain't what that is.
Right. And like that made me think like, yeah, they may silence black voices, but maybe certain type of black voices they don't silence, right? The ones that fit into what they want to depict, what they want to show. And that just goes along with it. It just,
as long as you're playing the role. As long as you're playing the good old boy role.
When I was researching this stuff, it was just like, it was mind blowing to me that it was so many parallels I was finding in today's society versus back then. It's almost like nothing really changed.
No.
Except what I feel like happened is, which I'm kind of jumping ahead, but these were characters portrayed in the media. And although it wasn't necessarily true back then, I'm not sure if I can say that today. And I believe that it's because of this, if that makes sense. So what was a figment of a white man's imagination actually manipulated us to believe that it's true and actually created a reality from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which I think is crazy. Which is, it's a domino effect to so many different things. So like I said, I just thought that was interesting how the media has been a thing since way back in the day. Our grandmothers were told to be mammy. Were depicted as mammy. And it got to a point where even though that this was a figment, of a white man's imagination, even though this was a caricature, it actually became what we actually are seeing in real life.
Right.
Which that's just deep to me. I also want to talk about the Sambo character. Now, when I was reading up on the Sambo caricature, and all of these characters I'm talking about are literally just a certain type of black figure in the media that is presented in the media at large numbers, and it's presented in the media as what a black man is or what a black woman is. And when I was reading up on a Sambo character, he kind of sounded like what we would call like a coon. Like when people use the word coon, like, or Uncle Tom type of person or something like that. Sambo was kind of like the birth of that generation, like the birth of the coons and the Uncle Toms. He was kind of like the mammy but just in the male way. You know, he was inadequate. He was unable to be independent of his slave owners. He didn't have the ability. He didn't have the capability to be anything other than what he was, and he was cool with that. He accepted that, and that, in theory, created a generation of coons who didn't really share the acceptance of like, I'm okay with this,
Right.
but they shared the I don't see a way out of it. They shared the I still feel like I'm not able to do anything about it. I'm not able to change it. I'm not able to, I'm you know, whatever. They are defeated. I'm lazy. I lack ambition because look at my life. How can I create ambition from this? How can I create anything from this? So they kind of like, it was kind of like not an acceptance, but it was kind of like, I'm defeated already. It's no point of trying.
Yeah.
Do we see this today? Do we hear black women talk about black men like that?
What do you think?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, when I was reading up on this stuff, this from back in the 1800s, and it's still relevant today. Mm-hmm. The same stuff that they talked about back then. You know, how many women we see, you know, talk about how black men ain't doing this and black men ain't doing that. Women, they making more money than men now. Men not ambitious. Men are not. And it's just like, you know, we look at, just like when we talk about black fathers, immediately we think about the bad black fathers. We talk about black men, immediately we think about the black men who don't have this, that don't have that, who are lazy, who don't want to work, who don't want to make the sacrifices, who can't protect and provide, right? Those are the coons from back in the day. And in theory, these coons, so-called coons, created what's called the sapphire caricature. And the sapphire caricature is supposedly the caricature that we actually see today, the bitter, angry black woman. And she supposedly came from the coon generation, which makes sense, right? If I am a black woman who is constantly failed, mind you, this is all imagination in the media. This is just something that's being pushed on us from the rare breeds in the actual black reality in the slave times. These people actually existed, but did they exist in mass numbers? Did they exist as if it was a normality? No. But they created these characters in the media to make it seem like it was really the actual big picture of us.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting because, like I said, that created this anger, bitter black woman. Obviously, you know, I actually saw an interview where what's that guy's name who I kind of take the meat, leave the bone type of thing. When he speaks, I forget his name. He's a doctor. He's a well-known. He always talk about black people, black culture.
Umar
Johnson. Yeah. So he had an interview, and I think they were kind of discussing angry black women, and he was just like, well, women have the right to be angry. Men wasn't being providers and protectors. Men this and men that, and basically saying like women have the right to be what we are to men because men weren't there.
Yeah.
And that made me think about what I was reading up on. Was that really true, or did that only become true because that's what we were manipulated to believe from the media? And then it created this woman who's like, oh, you know, men are inadequate of taking care of me, so now I got to take care of myself.
Right.
And then guess what happened after that? The feminist movement. Mm-hmm. It's just so crazy, like, how all of this trickled down from not even being real in the first place. Being real, but far and few in between real. Just kind of like we see in the media today. Right. We'll see somebody get on social media and we will really believe because we see mass numbers on social medias, or we'll see the Love and Hip Hops, or we'll see, you know, with all these movies with all these different, you know, all these different types of angry women, and they have their sad sob stories from the men they dated. So we understand it. But the issue is, if that's all we're seeing, you know what I mean? Just like you said, they're not giving certain black men platforms. They're giving us, they're not trying to give a good black man the platform. They want to give the men that degrade women the platform. The same like women. They want to give the Love and Hip Hop stars the platform where all they do is get mistreated by black men, and then it creates this sapphire type of character.
Let me tell you what's crazy, right?
And now everybody thinks this is the norm and this is how it really is, but really these are just
It's not. Especially
rare
you can't
situations.
go, because I am in movies, TV, all that. When I tell you these shows you think are reality are not actual reality. These people get paid to stir up drama, to perpetuate a certain stereotype.
Yeah, literally.
Because they got to feed their family. Now, despite how you feel about it or not, that's just what it is. Quite frankly, I understand it from a creator's perspective. I get it. This is just how reality TV shows go. Cool. What concerns me is the people who actually buy into it to the point where you think it's actually real.
But do you think that it's just certain people that buys into it, or do you think as a culture, as a big picture standpoint, have we kind of all bought into it in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, because what we don't realize, yes, it's entertaining, yes, it's funny, but subconsciously it is manipulating your way of thinking and your way of seeing things without you even knowing it. Mm-hmm. For example, you remember that show, America's Most Wanted?
It was a show? Oh, like the reality show. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
I remember the movie America's Most Wanted. I don't remember actual like.
It was a
sitcom.
show. It wasn't a sitcom. It was a show. It was like a docu type of series type of show.
Yeah,
Where,
I remember that, but I never watched it.
It's a show where they pretty much, somebody did something crazy. They got away. They still looking for them, right? Mm-hmm. I used to watch that show when I was younger. And the more I watched that show, the more afraid I got that there's one of these niggas is around Cincinnati somewhere, like,
Yeah.
and you start to look over your shoulder.
Oh my God.
And what I failed to realize was the reason I'm looking over my shoulder so much is because I have bought into this reality
Yes.
of this show.
Yes.
Before I watched this show,
Yes.
I wasn't thinking about that. But the more I watched it, the more real it became to me. So the reason why a lot of us buy into these things is because we aren't aware of what it's doing to us. And we
Facts.
just take it as real life.
Facts.
Like, what? And you have to understand that's TV world. Your world is completely different from what's going on there. Now, there may be some things you can relate to. However, you can't let that manipulate the reality of your own life.
Here is the issue with that. That's so true. Except for a lot of women, it's not necessarily a lie. Okay? So you got to think. The reason I wanted to go back to the 1800s and go back and talk about how we were represented in the media as black women and black men, and why I keep saying this wasn't really real back then, right? This was real for a handful of black people. It wasn't real for the big picture and the big culture of black people. However, the media created these characters, and they did it through a series. I mean, like a series of a bunch of television shows that we all know and love today, that we didn't even realize this was just a lot of the TV shows and stuff that we love today were really just remakes of black women and black men that were depicted back in the 1800s, right? So what I'm trying to say is the issue is, yes, we can't look at the media and believe that it's reality. However, if the media does their job the way they were supposed to do, which I kind of believe they did kind of succeed with what they did, right? Does that mean now that it's not, does that, now I feel like it created a reality for real. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what creates the issue.
And yeah, it ties into what I was saying. It became a reality because people bought into it.
People bought into it. So now what? You know what I mean? Because you can't say the issue, maybe back then, right? And I'm sure there were black people back then, kind of how we are now. Like, we like to think that we are, changing things, but the type of black people we are now today, it was people like that back then, right? It's just they wasn't being showed. They wasn't, they wasn't being whatever.
And it wasn't monetized. Like, white people are making money off of black people being black, which is very unfortunate.
Right. And I just feel like the issue, like you were saying, how do we get back to it not being a reality anymore? I guess is what I'm trying to say. How do we get back to, because one, it wasn't a reality. It started off not a reality. It became a reality from being manipulated by the media telling us that's what our reality was when really it wasn't. And so because we were manipulated to believe it was our reality, it really became our reality. So how do we change that? You know what I'm saying?
Question is, can it be changed?
Right. And I think that's what made it deep for me, because it's like, and that's the reason why I wanted to talk about the angry black woman, because it's not just the angry black woman, she's bitter, It was an actual, what do you call it? It was an actual plot and scheme to create this woman.
Right.
And it actually worked. We were created. It actually happened. So now, this is back in the 1800s. Think about how many generations we have created from these characters, right? Now it's in today, the 2023 generation, it's in our DNA now. Mm-hmm. Which is deep for me, because it's like the things we learned from the media, it has now been engraved into our lineage. And now it's a part of us for real, when it really wasn't back then. And when I was reading up on that stuff, I'm like, wow, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't really have the answer to that. I'm kind of just like in complete shock. I mean, I'm honestly not in complete shock, because when I was reading up on it, it's so many parallels to today. Like, we see this same stuff today. We see the black woman being portrayed as the sapphire today. We see the coons today. We see the Sambos today. We see the mammies still today. Our grandmothers and great-grandpas. How many people talk about how, they can't really talk about their entrepreneurial dreams with their parents and their grandparents.
And what's crazy is there's even a fight within the media right now because of what's being shown and what is the truth right now. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of shows that show and embody black people,
yes.
black culture, and they do a great job at it. There's a docuseries on it called...
Maybe that's part of the answer. I didn't think about it like that. We do have shows like Blackish.
Yeah, and we've had these quality type shows for such a long time.
We had the Cosbys and Family Matters.
Yeah, and the crazy part is even that black actors had to fight these white writers, white people, to just show what it really is to be black and not show
the normal stereotypes,
the stereotypical stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. The only reason why these things are stereotypes is because somebody saw a black person do this thing.
And then blew it up.
It became popular.
Yep.
A lot of people started to do it, and now it's a stereotype.
Now it's a stereotype because I feel like it created the reality. I think it created, it expanded, it grew. It started off as just this media thing, and then it slowly but surely throughout all these generations and all these different types of characters in the media slowly influenced us to actually become that. Now, I'm not saying that we became that as a whole. There's still always going to be, not that. You know what I mean? Like the opposite of that. But now I feel like it started off as a stereotype and it is continuing to be a stereotype, but us as Black people are still feeding into it and creating the reality of the stereotype. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's all because of what we have learned that we're supposed to be. And like I said, it's in our lineage, it's in our DNA. We grew up in these images. So I like what you said. I don't know if that's what you were trying to say, but it made me think, like I was talking about it like, well, how do we change that?
Yeah. It's a fight.
It's a fight. And if it's a fight, if it started off in the media, then there probably need to be more Black people in the media doing the opposite, right? More Black people in the media not depicting the Black stereotypes, not depicting the angry Black women, not depicting the lazy, bad baby daddy Black men and all of those things. The cheating men, those are the men that get all the popularity and all of that. We're not really, and I'm not saying that we are not seeing it. I think in today's times, it's the perfect time to talk about it because we are open to changing that stereotype.
Yeah, and Denzel said something in an interview that was so powerful. It kind of ties into what we're talking about. He was talking to a media person. She was interviewing him on the red carpet. And I can't remember what she asked him. It was something along the lines of telling the truth in the media. And he said, what is the overall effect of too much information? He said, what's the overall effect of too much information? Just putting out stuff for the sake of just putting it out. And he said, your responsibility as a media person is to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest issue is that people just want to tell a story rather than just tell the truth.
Right.
Because the truth, if you really think about it, the truth is boring.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah.
The truth is absolutely boring. But if you embellish a little bit, like the whole Black women is crazy is an embellishment.
Yeah.
It's not the truth.
It's not the truth.
And what you think is crazy is normal to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like when, y'all like to do all this and all that. A lot of folks call that crazy.
Yeah. Or sassy or angry or aggressive.
To niggas, that's just a normal Tuesday for us.
Yeah.
Because that's us being us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then other cultures try to take it and try to make it a thing. But niggas been doing this for a long time.
Shut up.
But like I said, the mantra of Black women are crazy is just an embellishment to make a story interesting.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And it makes sense because if we already been kind of brainwashed to believe that these things are really real and are really true, then it doesn't feel like embellishment at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really embellishment. This is really something that is really happening. Like, I'll watch Love and Hip Hop and be like, and not be shocked by the things that I see on there.
Right.
Because these women actually really do exist. I mean, it's supposed to be a reality show. But it's one of the reasons why I purposely don't watch the show, because people don't understand. Like, there was a pastor that talked about entertainment. And he talks about the word entertainment. He says that entertainment is literally you allowing the media to enter you. That's why it's called entertainment. Like Eddie Griffin said, television programming is literally what it's telling you. It's telling you to program. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I just think it gets real deep with the media when you think about it. When you're not intentional about the things that you watch, like, or things that you listen to. Like, there are certain things, like, I won't listen to as far as music wise. Like it'll feel good in the moment. Like say I'm in a situationship and I'm mad at the dude and I turn on a man hating song and it feels good in the moment, but it's really changing my brain simultaneously to actually believe the things that are being said. Even though the things that are being said in that song is just for one particular guy. But we will hear these songs and we'll watch these movies and we'll watch these TV shows, and we are thinking that we are relating to it in a sense of, oh, that's my situation. But when we don't understand that our brain doesn't work like that, we are creating narratives in our brain to actually believe this in a mass point of view, in a general. That's the whole point of the media when you think about it. The whole point of the media, I remember somebody had said this, which is, this is all theory, right? Somebody said the whole point of the media is to get everybody to think alike. They want everybody to have the same type of brain, to have the same thoughts, which makes sense, right? Things going viral, things, things that we see all the time. And then you'll see somebody actually think a certain way because of what they see all the time.
Right.
So we don't think, like, I don't think when I'm listening to a song that I know is like not really a good song. Like I want to be a married woman. I want to believe that there are black men out there that still want to be married and things like that. Why am I listening to F that nigga, he ain't shit? That's going to make me really believe that.
Right.
But we don't think that deep into it. Oh, music is just music. TV is just TV. But it's not.
No, it's definitely.
And clearly it's not, because we just talked about how something that was not even real became real because of TV.
It's
because
definitely,
of media.
It's influencing you without you realizing.
It's influenced our subconscious.
And like,
Ooh, too much for me.
it's which is why you have to be careful about the things you listen to, the things you watch. There are certain things I will not watch in my house. I ain't inviting them spirits in my house.
Right.
And if you really know me, it ain't even a lot of people that's allowed in my house.
Yeah.
And there's certain music I won't listen to because the words don't add up to what I believe.
Right.
And I love music, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there are some artists, some things I just won't listen to. Now, there are some things I won't go that deep into.
Yeah.
Like, it's people who have think pieces and theories and all this other stuff. And
What's that?
about, like, music and, like, Beyonce. Like, she is trying to get, quite frankly, I don't care. The girl can sing her ass.
Oh, you'd be like Illuminati and stuff like that?
Like,
oh, okay.
And it's even with stuff like that. Like, there are people who are so hell-bent on what you think the truth is.
Yeah.
You stop living.
Yeah.
Like, and that's another thing, which is why you can't really go based off of the media. If you even buy into the whole Illuminati thing, that will shape your way of thinking towards the industry, towards, like, if you want to be an actor and you want to be in Hollywood and your dream is to make movies and all that, go for it. Don't let these people and these things stop you from, or shape your mind into thinking, well, I can't be that's the devil. I can't be a part of that. Everybody in the industry ain't a part of that.
Yeah. And you know what? I also believe on top of that, like when you're constantly trying to expose artists and things like that, I was talking to my brother like months and months ago about this. The whole expose culture, I feel like, is counterproductive to the actual message that we're actually needing to better ourselves and to better what, I feel like the exposed culture, because they're, that's culture on YouTube and on social media where they always want to expose. What I think they think they are doing, they're actually doing the opposite. And I had to really come to that because I had got to a point where I was kind of like that in a way where I wasn't the type of person where I'm just gonna like bring it up. But if it's brought up to me, then I've done my research and things like that. So I will engage in a conversation about it. But now I have learned, and it was actually through a pastor that I used to listen to. And I had to think about it. Like, there was another, Jackie Hill Perry, she used to talk about this particular pastor all the time. And she would say that, yes, it might be okay to talk about, what the quote unquote believer is listening to and what they probably shouldn't listen to. But at the same time, the message becomes the devil. The message becomes talking about the devil and talking about hell and talking about all of these things. The message is Jesus and God is completely taken out of the message. So when people think they're really exposing people who are demonic and things like that, all they're doing is glorifying the demonic things. They're glorifying the devil. All they're doing is talking about the devil.
Right.
And then we lose sight of the actual gospel when we're doing all this exposing.
Right.
So I had to check myself with that. Like, it was a pastor I used to listen to that always talked about hip hop and how it's industry. And I'm not saying that I totally believe it's untrue, but I also don't think I technically need to indulge in that type of education just to get closer to God. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You don't. And it's
because it really is not helping me get closer to God.
It's a manipulative,
just exposing what we already know. The world is what it is. You know what I mean?
It's a manipulative tactic. And we honestly make it so easy for the devil. Like, we really, really do.
Like, I think the devil is okay with being exposed.
And you think you're doing God a favor by exposing all this stuff. And he's just like,
and you're not talking about God at all, though.
Just tell people about me. Trust me, I'm good enough.
Right. I'm big enough. I have a whole lot more power and messages that you can discuss that actually will change people's lives.
Even in like, and I'm a PK, grew up at church, done all the things, been to all the things, seen all the things. Even when you pray, if all you're doing is coming against the devil and I come against this, and you don't even one time talk to God
about bearing fruit,
about just his goodness. Mm-hmm. Your whole prayer time is just rebuking Satan.
Yeah.
What? Trust me, he been rebuked.
Yeah.
Just talk to God. I promise you, like you're making it so easy for the enemy to manipulate your mind.
Yes.
Because of what you refuse to unlearn.
Yes.
And I believe that the moment we can get to a place, because all of this is just the topic is on how we got to this thing of the stereotypes of black women. However, the overall bigger picture is about truth at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You just need to simply tell the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about your truth. I'm not talking about my truth. I'm talking about the truth.
The actual truth.
The actual truth.
Yeah.
And once we get to that point of not even wanting to be right, because the truth will hurt.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we will try to escape the truth by just trying to be right.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah.
The point is, can we get to the truth? Can we get to the truth of it all? Because once we get there, then we will see the change of it all. Like, it really bothers me to see what's happening in Florida and about education in Arkansas, about removing Black history in schools. Teaching Black history in schools. It bothers me so much. Because I'm like, it's the truth.
What did they say the reason for that was?
I think the governor of Arkansas, who is a very interesting, dumb woman, she said it's hate speech. And I'm like...
What is being hated? White people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got it. That makes sense.
But the thing is, white people aren't being hated. This is part of history in America.
Yeah.
Nobody's hating y'all.
Right.
It's just
facts that happened.
your ancestors, your
Right.
people
Yeah. Did this to our
did this
people.
to our people. It does, and we not even talking about you,
Yeah.
even though you benefit from it.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about is a certain thing that happened
Yeah.
in the past that is currently affecting the present.
Yeah.
And I think the moment even white people can just get to the truth of that part
Yeah.
instead of trying to erase it.
Yeah. Well, I think they are well aware of the truth. I think they just don't want us to be aware of it. I think our kids are definitely a target as far as mindset shift. When you think about the media, a lot of us like to believe, oh, I can watch this because I'm an adult and it's not going to affect me, which isn't true.
No.
But it might be a little true as an adult, right? But we always forget about our kids. The teenager who may not be as wise as you, who may not be able to look at the media and be like, oh, that's not true. They 16 years old. They're really believing this is true because this is what they actually see.
Right.
And what is crazy, because when you said like you were upset about, the schools changing that, I instantly thought about it like, it's not gonna matter in my household because Jordan's gonna learn everything there is to learn about Black people and their history. But then I had to step outside of myself and be like, but wait, that's just your household. What about the kids that are growing up without parents or without, somebody to educate them?
Right.
So in that case, yes, that's pretty monumental to take something out of schools that kids may not even learn now because their parents don't care to teach it to them, or they don't have parents at all, or
Right.
what have you. So yeah, I think that's pretty disgusting. I'm not shocked at all. I mean, we already hearing about how the LGBT is being pushed in schools, which I don't understand. I don't understand why sexuality will be taught to an elementary school. I don't understand
It ain't even
that.
gotta be about the LGBT plus community. I don't want my child to have anything sexualized to them.
Right.
Period.
No, yeah, period.
I don't care if it's straight, gay, none of it.
None of it. But we have what was that called in high school? Was it high school we took when we learned about sex? I forget what the school class was
I think
called,
it was
though.
it was health
sex
class
ed or health class?
in middle school.
Middle school. Was it middle school?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was in high school when I learned that.
Actually, no, because I think freshman year you had
Yeah,
to take.
I remember I was a freshman.
Yeah, you had to
But
take
I think
health.
that's what they're gonna add it to. That they're gonna add it to that class.
And
But they took Black History out though. That's
Right.
very interesting.
but right, like
We don't need to learn about a woman turning into a man at 5 years old. Okay, what do I care? But nah, I don't know if it's gonna be in the elementary. It might still stay in high schools and all of that. But still, at that age, why do I need to know about any of that stuff? But yeah, taking Black History out of schools, that's not a shock at all. I mean, I'm surprised it lasted this long in schools, honestly. But that just lets us know we're responsible for teaching our kids these things anyway. For us to be very dependent, and I understand that there are people who don't have this information, but honestly, in 2023, that's no longer an excuse. I literally can research anything and find something on something, and that just goes to show, at this point in time, like if you don't know something, you need to find out and start being intentional about teaching it to our kids, because the school systems, I feel like, are just going to get worse and worse and worse as far as what they're teaching and things like that.
yeah.
So I want to kind of explore a little bit about this timeline of events here, like the mammy caricature, the Sambo creating the coon creating the sapphire being the bitter, angry Black woman that we see today, and then came the feminist movement. I kind of want to talk about the feminist movement just in a sense of like, we already know what it is, right? We look at the feminist movement as like a man-hating type of thing. But I actually had it was a point in time where I was a feminist. Like, I talked about that in the last episode. Like, why I want to talk about the angry Black woman? Because I identify as an angry Black woman. I feel like most of us as Black women kind of identify with this in a way because we already talked about how the media created a reality which created generations and generations and generations of angry Black women. And I think because it was in our lineage, the feminist movement kind of had to happen, right? Like it was kind of, we were kind of, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about too, where it seemed like in the beginning, when they wanted to depict these Black stereotypes on Black people, they were doing it to pretty much secure themselves as slave owners, to secure themselves like, oh, you're going to continuously work for me and be happy about it, be okay with it,
Right.
feel so defeated that you can't get out of it. That keeps us slave owners. That keeps us ruling. That keeps us authoritative figures. But what it also did is keep us from wanting each other, right? So they may have felt like, you know, we're just trying to basically maintain the bag by keeping y'all enslaved, and, you know, that keeps us rich. But what really, the result was that keeping us poor, but it also kept us apart from each other. And when you think about when the feminist movement came about, that really changed the game for keeping us from each other.
Right.
That really changed the game for basically where Black couples were diminishing more and more and more and more and more. I think they said they start seeing this around like after like the 60s or something like that, marriage started going down and down and down and down in the Black communities. So yeah, I just wanted to tell my little quick story, okay, about how I became a feminist. And I actually created a little video about it, but I didn't like it. I'm probably gonna have to do it over. But I named the video the day that I believe my angry, bitter Black woman was born, right? My independent, angry Black woman was born. And it's so crazy because it literally just came from a very like small situation. Okay, so I decided, which makes sense, right, to take a women's studies class in college. And knowing me, like, and it's so crazy because, like, the way I am now, you know, talking about women and relationships and Black culture and Black realities and Black stereotypes, I've kind of always been this person. I never really paid attention to how much I paid attention to this type of stuff. Because when I was thinking about this story, I'm like, wow, like I was into women's studies at 21 years old. Like I was already, you know, thinking about wanting to learn more about women. And I honestly thought that I was going to learn like objective truths about Black women. Or not Black, just Black women. Because I think I took a Black women's studies class too, but this was just women's studies all around. But I thought I was just going to learn like objective women history, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even exaggerating, y'all. As soon as I sat down, as soon as the class begun, the teacher said this. She said, "Welcome to women's studies. I want you all to think," this is a class full of women, obviously. It's women's studies. I think it was one boy in there, one guy in there. I hate to say it, but he was, you know, he wasn't straight, okay? All right, but it was like one guy that wasn't straight and the rest was Black, the rest was women, right? And she was like, I want you to think about a time where, say you're on campus late at night, and, you know, you're finishing up, you're wrapping up, getting ready to go, about to head home. She's like, how many of you grab your keys and create a beeline for your car? And literally, you know what I mean by I say that, create a beeline for your car? Okay. And literally, I feel like, I know in my head, I immediately started thinking about that. Like, because a lot of us, and that's another thing about the media, right? Which I think we already touched on, where we don't really know that the media is changing the way we think about stuff, right? So when she said that, I feel like, and I can speak for myself, but I really feel like most women in that classroom really thought about that. Like, we really got into that moment and was like, I do create a beeline for my car. Like I do. Like I'd be like, yeah, I'm trying to hurry up and get home. Like I'm looking over my shoulder. It's late at night. Like I'm scared. But we're not thinking like too deep into it. We trying to get home.
Right.
But she made us think about that. And she said, what are you scared of when you create a beeline for your car? And I'm pretty sure almost every woman thought the very exact same thing. Who do you think we are scared of when we create a beeline for our car late at night?
Black men.
Isn't that crazy? Immediately when she said that, men became an enemy to me.
Wow.
I know. And I didn't really know that. At the time, I'm not thinking that. I was in a relationship with my daughter's dad. But it changed our relationship drastically. And that's why I wanted to talk about that story, because that was a very, I think, representation of how manipulation works. Right? Because she didn't tell me to be afraid of men. I don't even think it was about black men. This is just men in general. We talking about just men in general. She didn't tell me to be afraid of black men. She told me that I was afraid of men. So instead of telling me you should be afraid of men, she told me I was afraid of men. Right? So you got to think, it was true, but it was true. It was taken in a way that I feel like she knew it was going to be taken, but it didn't have to be taken that way, if that makes sense, right? So I just thought it was crazy. I thought it was kind of dope, actually, that she was able to manipulate us in that one, I mean, I'm not saying she manipulated all of us, manipulate me with that one scenario, because she told us to imagine it. And we didn't really have to imagine it because a lot of us just did it last night. So we were able to quickly go into our brains and think about that feeling we get when it's 2 a.m. and we walk into our car. And it was just crazy. Like, okay, I'm thinking about this feeling that I get. That feeling was real. So just thinking about how you are thinking about a situation and a real feeling comes out of that. And then the whole rest of the class, the whole rest of the semester was basically about hating men and being separated from men. She didn't actually say that. Those weren't actually the things that were being said, but these were the images, and these were the videos, and these were the things that we were watching. Of course, there were men out here, raping and killing women. You got the Ted Bundys and things like that, which is glorified, right? And I just thought that was just extremely interesting because, one, it was true. Yes, I'm scared of men at night. Absolutely. Still to this day. Are we taught to? That can be another, that's a question. I feel like so, just like you said, watching America's Most Wanted and watching, all these different shows that come on where men are killing women and all of these. Now we got shows where women killing men. So, it can go either way now. But
can I say something?
Yeah. I just thought that was...
It ain't just women that's scared of men.
True.
We scared of ourselves.
True.
You think when I walk into a garage, I wish a nigga would. But
I think with women, it's kind of different. But I understand what you're saying.
But with me, it was kind of a funny video that went viral. When anywhere I go, the first thing I look for is the exit. I plot how we're going to get out of here before.
Yeah.
Just in case anything pops off, because naturally I'm just a protector.
Yeah.
So no matter where I go, I've already plotted. I know where every person is.
Yeah.
I've already plotted out how we're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't even think I do it because I'm scared. I think I'm just very overprotective. Yeah. Of just my people in general. Yeah. And I never really thought about the fact that maybe it is because I'm scared or there is a fear attached to this, and it probably is.
And is the fear coming from an actual reality, or is it coming from the media? Is it coming from what we're supposed to be? We're supposed to be afraid of. There's multiple movies about, you see a black man with a hoodie on, clench your purse. You know,
Right.
he about to snatch your purse. All of these things, man, it's just
Ain't that is
mind-boggling.
so crazy.
It's mind-boggling, man,
It's
that we
so
really believe
crazy.
these things.
Like, all it took was for that boy to get shot, all because he had a hoodie on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, my first thought when that happened is like, when did wearing a hoodie become so scary? Like, when did that perpetuate fear on somebody? Like, he got a hoodie on, he got
know
his
the
hood
answer
up.
to that.
We know the answer. And it's just like, but why?
The answer to that, the media. It's in every movie. It's in every show.
And it's just like,
It's on the news.
and don't get me wrong, it is a thing. We love wearing hoodies.
Is it a thing? Or
No,
is
no, no,
it
no. We
a figment of our imagination?
no. The truth of the matter is, we wear hoodies. Point blank, period. No matter where we are, like, even in the summer, I don't know what's wrong with these kids, but they wear
Oh
hoodies.
my God, my daughter stay wearing a hoodie. Like, what is
I'm
going on?
like, it's
80 degrees
literally
outside.
96 and a half degrees outside.
Not in a half. Shut up.
Like, what are you doing? And so,
Oh my God.
don't get me wrong. Like, I think where the media played it up is black kids in the hood wear hoodies. And when they have a gun, that's what they wear. Oh, and the media ran with it.
Yeah.
And so,
And we believed it. And then it became a reality because we believed it. Oh, it's
Right.
just so crazy to me, the media.
And-
like, I think people don't really understand how powerful it is, how powerful it's always been, and how it shaped our culture.
right.
It really shaped our culture.
Even with the whole Rodney King thing. Like, and when all these riots started, in the media, when black people riot, they call them thugs,
Yeah.
all this other stuff. When white people's team win or lose, they out in the streets tearing ish up.
Yeah.
Oh, they're celebrating. They're good people having a great time.
Yeah.
It's all in the media
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yes.
And we fall for it every single time.
And it sucks because, like, just like with the feminist movement, I feel like I wanted to talk about the feminist movement because how it was basically a byproduct of what the media was portraying. And I feel like when that happened, that monumental movement happened, that's when it really became, it's me against you. It's one black woman against black men.
Right.
I think the collaborative effort literally took a halt at that point in time. So it just made me believe, like, the feminist movement, I feel like, was something that was wanted to happen when these black stereotypes came up. You know what I mean? So it basically ran its course exactly how it was supposed to. And a lot of us are so prideful to believe that these things were actually real. It's actually what we're supposed to be. It's actually, you know, because like I said, that feminist woman, I wish I remember her name because I felt like that was like crazy manipulation. I don't even understand how a professor can do that. Now, obviously, I take all the blame for being that impressionable where I can just switch and be like, oh my gosh, black men are the enemy. I didn't really know that that's what was happening in my brain. But me as a 33-year-old woman thinking about 12 years ago and thinking about what happened during all those 12 years when it came to me and black men,
Yeah.
I can't separate the two. I can't say the two doesn't go together, you know? And I think that, you know, I've said this, you know, a bunch of times already. I think that we don't really realize how what we allow ourselves to take in really changes our reality of who we really are.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I really felt like that's when the angry black woman was born. That's when the independent black woman was born. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I've had sexual trauma. We've talked about that before, right? So think about all of the trauma that women, black and white, all races, already go through. And we're young and we go to a women's studies class and we got a teacher that we look up to and have all the answers in our mind, right? And she opens up the class like that. You know what I'm saying? Just think about how much that could change the perception of impressionable black women, white women. I just think she played on our emotions. And I think that's what a lot of movements do, right? They play on our emotions a lot. Like they will allow you, and that's the thing with the media and the black stereotypes in the media. It plays on our emotions. Some of us can relate to those things. So we believe that it's true because it is true for some of us, right? And so just think about how I can see a black stereotype, relate to it, but also not believe it's real. That doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just imagine, like, you take something that's very small in numbers, right? You have 1,000 black people, but you have 3 black people who are exactly the black stereotype. And they take that 3 and they use that 3 to create this character, and then it becomes, it infects the rest. It infects the rest of the 900.
Right.
I just thought that was just an amazing read. That was an amazing revelation to kind of see how that domino affected to the feminist movement, how that domino affected to us hating each other, being apart from each other,
Right.
and not wanting to come together. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about the angry black women, because it's a lot deeper than just, black women are bitter and black women are this and black women are that. It's a lot deeper than, men need to just get it together. It's actually not even real. It became real from something that was only true for a small part of us, and then it infected the rest of us. And like I said, it leaves me stumped a little bit, because I don't really know, now that it became real, now that it has really infected us, how do we cure from that? How do we change that? How do we create this different woman? We have spent centuries creating the angry, bitter black woman. How do we just up and not be that anymore? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You asked a great question. How do we change that? I don't even think it's a matter of we. I think for you, it starts with you.
Yeah.
It's how do you change you? And
Yeah.
the moment you get to a place of being the opposite of that stereotype, the more you get around other black women, the more, because you, Jazzy, people are drawn to you, and you have an infectious spirit. So when the work will never be done, however, the quality of your life based on the work you've done will be seen by others.
Yeah, for sure.
And that
course.
will inspire others to be
Yeah.
like, man, Jazzy is so much better than what she used to be. That inspires me to do the work too.
Yeah.
And so it starts with you.
Seeing the other realities.
Yeah.
Seeing the other side of things. The other, the woman that's not bitter and angry, the woman that has no reason to be bitter and angry because she didn't come from the coon. She doesn't know the coon. Yeah, it's tough, like I said, because I think that although it was derived from imagination, it became our reality.
Right.
And that to me leaves me stumped, because it's not just about, yes, it starts with me, absolutely, as an individual, and I'm 100% responsible for not depicting the angry black woman anymore. But is it really that simple? You know what I mean? How do you not be who you are? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How do you not be what we always see? How do we not be something that we were taught to be? We were taught to be scared of men? How do I just wake up in the morning and not be scared of men? You know,
I think
it doesn't really work that way. It's kind of like now it's almost like you have to unlearn and relearn what a black woman really actually is, what a black woman actually is supposed to represent. I
think, and I've said this before, we as people in general have lost our curiosity.
We've accepted things.
We think we take everything for what we think it is.
Yeah.
Therefore, well, if the majority thinks this is what it is, then this must be what it is.
Yeah.
Which is always true.
Right.
I think we should keep our curiosity.
Yeah.
About ourselves.
Yeah.
Because when you're curious, you don't get offended.
Yeah.
When you're curious, you're like, I could be wrong. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think we've gotten to a place where, especially in the era of social media,
yeah,
everything just has to be right.
Right.
Especially after the uncertainty of everything that happened with COVID and all that. We are searching for something to be right.
Yeah.
That we don't really question if it's true.
Yeah.
So
never questioned it. We never questioned it. We always thought we had reasons to be angry. And I'm not saying that some of us don't. But it became a part of who we actually are instead of it being something that we went through with someone. It became a part of us and who we are because, you know, we believed that's what we had to be based on what we believed our realities were from black men, you know. I think we came a long way with how we look at black men, though, now. I know there was a time, I feel like, where black men, I don't care, you know, you were just looked at, I don't care how good you dressed, you was a nigga, okay? That's what you were.
You ain't gotta say it like that. But
you know,
okay.
And it sucked, you know, because black women did it too. Like, you know, the feminist movement, we, you know, and I don't want to keep saying, you know, the same stuff, but I just think that knowing or just researching these theories about how the angry black woman even came about, that was kind of it wasn't a shock, but it was, you know, because I was looking for something like, okay, you know, this happened, but nothing really happened except for the media. The media happened. And the only reason why I believe this theory to be true, because it's literally the same exact stuff we see today. A lot of people believe exactly what we see in the media. We believe that this to be what the black woman is, or what the black man is. And I just think that just lets you know how powerful the media is.
Right.
And now we have to understand that how important it is to be intentional about what we allow to be entertainment for us, because it's shaping our brains and it's creating realities that aren't really real. So.
No, not real at all. And yeah,
that was deep.
It's deep.
That was deep,
but a
for me.
great conversation though, as
Yeah,
always.
definitely.
All right, this next segment is called "Did That Really Happen?" And my God, it did. I honestly don't even know how I would handle this situation, but here we go. This happened a couple weeks ago, literally in the year of our Lord 2023. Delta flight forced into emergency landing by passengers' diarrhea.
By what?
Passengers' diarrhea.
All passengers had it, or just a couple of passengers?
Just one.
Just one passenger had diarrhea, so they had.
Hold on. A Delta flight from Atlanta to Barcelona. Oh, that's like a 7-hour flight, 8. Was forced to turn around and make an emergency landing after a passenger had diarrhea all the way through the plane. So it was like on the floor of the plane, like on the ground.
How though? They just got up and just started boo-booing on the plane? Like, I'm just kind of confused.
Apparently
wasn't there a bathroom?
That part. The Airbus.
So did it at least come from the bathroom and he just kept boo-booing?
No, I don't think so. An aircraft was 2 hours into transatlantic flight from Georgia to Spain on Friday when the pilot asked to come back because of a fecal fiasco.
Wow.
I hate that so much. This is a biohazard issue, the pilot said to the air traffic control. Recorded from blah, 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 blah. We've had a passenger who's had diarrhea all through the airplane.
Oh, my God.
So they want us to come back to Atlanta. The identity of the passenger remains a mystery. Well, that's good. Because if it was me, I would go into... Actually, no. I would
Can
be
you
like,
imagine just diarrhea? I mean, just boo-boo. Like, we definitely got to land somewhere. I don't know why we had to go back to Atlanta. Like, why can't we just find the nearest airway
listen to me.
and land there? Clean the plane.
If there was ever a time where it is dookie on the plane,
All throughout the plane, clearly.
because my thing is, where were you from your seat to the bathroom?
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm more than sure you're going across the Atlantic. So, and it was an 8-hour flight. So I know there's bathrooms back here in the middle, another few rows probably before, and then to the front. Maybe. Because y'all know, I think in pictures, I literally made this movie in my head. I'm thinking individual got up, went to one bathroom. It was being used. As they were running along, it was just coming out, trying to make it to the other bathroom. And that's just where my thought goes.
Oh, my God.
And along the way, it just left a crappy trail.
This was some real diarrhea. Runny diarrhea.
When I tell you, I looked at the video and
well,
I
you can't
said,
even breathe a certain way and it's going to come out.
and there's nothing you can do. It's going through your mask. It's going through your shirt. I don't know what it is about the smell of dookie that just penetrates everything. I would have been so pissed.
Okay, like
So
what?
pissed. And I would have felt bad for the person. Because when you gotta
what
go,
did you eat?
when you gotta go, you gotta go. Like,
what did you eat though? Like,
man,
you know, the diarrhea comes from dehydration. Though.
I know that nigga was sweating and just stomach hurting, trying to hold it in.
Probably was sick.
But when your booty gotta get loose, it gotta get loose, man. Like, I don't know what that individual was thinking.
Yes, absolutely not.
And they was probably trying to hold it for a long. That's why I'm like,
I just
look,
don't understand why they had to go back to
if
Atlanta.
it's dookie on the plane.
Why can't they just go somewhere that's on the way to Barcelona? Like, we gotta go back.
Well,
now we gotta go back 2 hours with the dookie on the plane. Like,
so you want them to fly?
Not to Barcelona, but like fly to ain't nothing more closer.
They was
than
2 hours
Atlanta.
out. They was over the ocean. Where they gonna go?
To the nearest city that got a
The nearest city is the one that they just left.
That was the nearest city. They probably was close to somewhere. Where are they at? Georgia. Come on, all them different states and cities that got airports and stuff.
You're going across the ocean. Where are you gonna go?
But they wasn't across the ocean yet. They wasn't overseas yet. They was still in the States. Or I don't know. I don't know what 2 hours on the plane is getting you at. But I would have just been mad that we gotta go back 2 hours. Like, hey, they nothing 30 minutes up the air road.
That ain't how it worked though, unfortunately.
Clearly.
But
Cause listen, why we gotta wait 2 hours to get off this plane? I'm mad.
I just want to know if anybody got a picture of the person. Cause
that's sad. Can you imagine?
I mean,
I don't know why you couldn't just stay in the bathroom.
They said
the whole flight.
the person remains a mystery.
I'd have been in that bathroom the entire flight. Like,
Like I ain't coming out.
Y'all do not want me to come out. I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you right now. Well,
I had to go to the first class area to go pee or something. I don't know.
It couldn't have been me, but
Oh Lord.
And that's another thing. Like, go to the bathroom, use the bathroom, and get out. Like,
Right.
ain't nobody trying
Ain't
to.
nothing in there but that fake
And
toilet.
airplane bathrooms are so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
They small.
All
it's
you
tight.
can do is turn around and
Right.
sit. Turn around and get up.
Like, get up and get out.
Oh my God.
So stupid. So stupid.
I've only been to the bathroom on a plane like once or twice though. Like I've never took a long
I
flight,
hate using the bathroom on the plane
Me
unless
too.
I really have to. However, I do want to. I do want to get on a Emirates.
What's that?
It's an airline. In their business class, they have like the bathroom is huge. Like they have showers
Oh, period.
on the plane.
Oh. I
If-
bet.
If you ever see a video of me taking a shower on an airplane, just know that I've made it. I am
Right.
filthy rich, and you will probably never hear from me again.
Okay.
Okay?
Period.
Because when I make that much money, phone numbers changing, I am not in the country.
Right?
Catch me when you can.
Man.
Well, all right. That's
That
our
was a
show
great
for today.
conversation.
Great convos. We know, but for real, we out.
Deuces.
Nah, but for real, tell me how I feel. We on that fire, tell me what's the deal. Nah, but for real, tell me how I feel. We on that fire, tell me what's the deal. Nah, but for real.